Hey guys, it's Piper, and I decided to draw Melanie again because I wanted to talk about my own real-life pity party where nobody showed up. In my last Melanie Martinez video, I mentioned how I mostly forgot about her for a long time other than her appearance on The Voice and her song Pity Party. Well, after that, I familiarized myself with her a little more, and I am really fond of her music. It may be a little late, but I am glad I jumped on this fandom. And Melanie is an amazing woman, and I would die for her. There's something oddly comforting about her music, even though it's dark as fuck. And I have even made peace with, you guessed it, Carousel. I mean, I wouldn't say I love it, but I can appreciate it so it doesn't burn my ears anymore. Anyway, enough rambling, let's talk about the party that never was. I'm not really sure where to start. Well, how about my college career because it's relevant to the timeline. It was a 2-year school, but I originally left community college before getting my associate's degree because I wanted to just skip straight to getting a bachelor's. But when they raised the tuition and did a few other things went down over there that would take too long to explain, I transferred back to the community college. Temporarily. The classes were cheaper and I still had no idea what I wanted to study, and I spent the past few years dicking around, and I eventually chose my major with a fucking coin toss. I am not kidding. There was a gap between high school and college math classes, so I pretty much had to start over again in college. I was dreading it at first, hence why I put it off so long. But I ended up picking it up rather quickly, and that's how I learned I wasn't bad at math. My middle school teachers were bad at teaching, so I never learned the basics of algebra, and I had to learn those before the more complicated college stuff. I had previously attended some dumb K-12 private religious school that thought I was ready for algebra at 11 years old, so it's not surprising. Quick note for those who don't know, most kids aren't ready for algebra until they're in high school because their brains aren't developed enough for the required reasoning skills until they are in their mid-teens. Starting them early is a great way to retard their math career. Fast forward to my final semester at community college when I was in college algebra. I was about 22 years old, I think. The teacher was wonderful for once, but some people just aren't good at math and they're too shy to approach the teacher. A lot of my classmates were like that, so I ended up tutoring them. I didn't get paid for it or anything, but I was lonely, jumping from major to major and dropping in and out of college since the age of 17 didn't offer me a lot of time to make stable friendships, you know. Through tutoring math informally, I made a few friends and had some decent fun, 'cause I enjoy math. Or enjoyed, I don't anymore, but... When community college was over and I was about to graduate in a couple of weeks, I realized a lot of us would part and go separate ways, just inevitably. I had no fudging clue what I was going to do with my crappy associate's degree, but I wanted to keep those people in my life somehow. I also didn't want to attend graduation because it sounded boring, so instead I decided to throw a graduation party, which sounded fun. I didn't invite a ton of people, but everyone said they were coming, so I was content, but also pretty nervous. I'm not the best at throwing parties, not that I would have ever admitted it, but I am and was a pretty good cook, and I'm not half bad at arranging tables and such as well. I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I just gathered the ingredients for cooking and decided I'd just try my best to use stuff I already had to decorate. Oh, and I got a bottle of bubbly champagne, of course. What kind of celebration doesn't have champagne? Not one I'd want to go to. It was nothing fancy, though, really. I think the menu was chicken tortilla casserole, southwestern mac and cheese, homemade bread, green beans, and chocolate chip cookies for dessert. It took a hell of a long time to make all that food, let me tell you. I convinced my mother to let me use her porcelain dishware and stuff. She agreed because she hadn't had a chance to use them herself in like 7 years, and I wouldn't shut up. I made sure to set the table appropriately, paying close attention to proper dinner table settings and stuff. You know, just in case one of the guests knew more about place settings than me, I didn't want to come off as uncivilized or something. I mean, I was basically serving adultified versions of kid food. Honestly, that shit, it belonged on Zoo Pal's plates, not on fine china next to candles. Black candles, of course, because, you know, aesthetic. And time for the punchline. After all that work, nobody came, even though all of them said they would. So I texted or messaged them all to find out what was up. One girl said she had a doctor's appointment and forgot. Another said she already made plans with her grandmother and forgot about them until the last minute. Of course, we have to always forget. And the rest just kind of disappeared. They just never came, never responded. Luckily, my aunt and uncle were in town, so I just called them up and I was like, hey, come eat all this fucking food. But, you know, it didn't feel like a party at all, especially not the one I had planned. You can't just have fun with family the same way you do with friends, and celebrating graduation with your graduating class is like you're celebrating everyone, not just your mopey ass self. And none of my family drank, so I didn't even get to open the champagne. Really, I was devastated. I mean, I was a great friend when I was helping them with their stupid homework and reviewing all the material that would be on the final exam, which had a 75% fail rate for your first out of 3 allotted attempts. I am not kidding. And I got a 100% on it, by the way. Ha, ha, gloat, gloat. God, no wonder they hated me. Honestly, though, the professor even told me that one of the invitees, now that she knew about this, just her, you know, wouldn't have passed the class without my help, and that she had failed twice already before I came along to help, and she needed a 68 or higher to pass the class, and she got exactly a 68. And I was so happy for her, too. Like, she passed her final, graduated, and never spoke to me again. Until we ran into each other a few years later, and we made St. Patrick's Day plans, and she once again disappeared, never to be heard from again. But that's fast forwarding quite a bit. But really, who stands up a redhead, an Irish American redhead, on St. Patrick's Day? That's got to be some kind of crime, right? Okay, rewind. As for my relationships with all the people I invited, it took me a few days of mental processing after the party that never was, but I eventually came to realize that none of them were actually my friends from the beginning, you know? None of them contacted me again, and I never bothered to reach out to any of them. I saved the champagne, and I told myself I'd accomplish something else, you know, something else worth celebrating, and I'd open it alone and just have a solo party, relax, listen to music. But instead, I just opened it alone and had a pity party because nothing good happened. And then I listened to pity party because it was mood. The end. Yeah, okay, that was a depressing story to say the least. Honestly, I hate to admit it, but I'm still kind of pissed about it, and I haven't thrown a party since. As for the art, I don't have much to say about it other than I tweaked a few things post-video and created a lens flare. I didn't record any of that or the touch-ups because most of them took like 2 seconds sporadically throughout the day. And I'd be recording a lot of videos that were like 3 seconds long, 10 seconds long. And as for the lens flare, that took me like 10 minutes and I had no idea what I was doing. And when I recorded the flash on the camera in my Paya Instagram piece, I really regretted it because I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't sure what tattoos she had in the pity party era, so I just drew all the ones I knew about. I found this long article about all her tattoos and where they were, and I think it was updated recently. I hope it was updated recently. I tried my best with the placement, but, you know, I didn't have a reference of her specific arm poses, so there was a little bit of guesswork. The pose is based on, actually it's directly copied from a stock photo called Fly Away by Facestock. I will link that for you in the description. And that is it. Please rate, subscribe, and have a great day. See ya! or at least have a better day than me. I just found out I have hemorrhoids. I found out the hard way. Ouch. TMI.